Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon. How the hell are you? I hope everything's going your way. I've got the poncho and the hat on today. Think about shaving my head, guys. Tell you the truth. I don't know who makes these things, but somebody like me, that is definitely off-centered up there, but that's okay. Then they glue the hat band onto the hat instead of just letting it hang out, so you can't really readjust it. You got to dissect the hat to readjust the jewel on top. But that is an insider secret. Alright, so. Oh God, I had this shit in my eyes. Crust of the earth in my eyes. Crust of the earth in my eyes. It's a little chilly this spring day in the great state of Alabama. My God, how green it is today. Hay fever is passing me by and leaving and fleeting just like life. Because that too is part of life. Look at all this greenery. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mountain. Beautiful mountain. There's our local residents. They keep me sane because without them I would surely be talking to the things that I can see and no one else can. Not the point. So, now that I can finally get back in front of this camera, I got a little bit of rest. I'm not sick as a dog. Tell you guys something, talking, advocating, preaching, riding the Holy Spirit and the dragon. It is very difficult because it is energy. Not very difficult. Not difficult at all. You just flow through it, but it does consume a lot of your energy. You get tired. And I never, in fact, I've done the opposite. I've never ever said that I was a saint or that I was greater than thou, that I was holier than thou. I have never done that. And I won't either because I know my shit stinks. I'm the one who does it. I never do that because that's dishonest as hell. Anybody that does that's dishonest as hell. But I have never made myself out to be a saint behaviorally. I have never said, look how great I am. Look at how great I am. Except for my eyes. Now these eyes are pretty fucking spectacular. That's a true story. I'll put these on. I don't need panties and clothing articles flying through this screen, slapping me in the face while I'm trying to talk. Good God. If I know what causes that in my back, I sure am. Somebody say something out of nowhere, tension, I'm going to find you. Well, you are a wanted man in the wild, wild holy land that is my body. And I'm putting a bounty on your ass. I'm going to find you. So, I digress. Look, I ain't perfect, guys, and I think anybody who's watched my videos and looked at my writing, I ain't never had the mentality of I'm better than anybody. I encourage people here. Because I want to see people do great things. And I know they can do them. I know they can. Those great things, they aren't just reserved for the presidents, the kings, the queens, the emperors of the world, the rulers. They're for everyone. And all you got to do is reach out. Have faith that you can and believe that you can. Believe that you can and have faith that you can. And you can do great things, just like all the people you read about in a history book or somebody tells you about. You can do it too. I know you can. Listen, to everything I've had over the years, everything I've done, I didn't do a damn bit of it. I didn't give it to myself. I didn't get it myself. God always gave it to me because I believed. Because I jumped with faith. And these days I just, right now I'm in kind of they call them seasons, right? Well, my season is I'm distracted more than usual. I'm beginning to realize this phone is a big distraction and I don't want it in my face or my life anymore. What does that mean? I don't know. You know, I made a post. Use a smartphone is the inverse, is like inverted meditation. Do you know what inverted means? It means in a simple way, you could think of it like this. Inverted is kind of like on a computer you would take an image a long time ago in like paint or whatever, and you could click invert image. And the colors of it would turn like blue, purple, white, and it would do that. And they call that inverting that image. It was the same image, but it was arguably different color, different shades. So inverted meditation, which is when we gawk at our phones for literal hours, is like meditation, but it's inverted. What does that mean? Meditation can mean a lot of things. I'm going to sum it up for you quickly. You're relaxed, you're paying attention to your thoughts, you're inside your internal world, you're there so long, it's kind of like having awareness while you're asleep. So you're looking at your internal world, you're just letting things fly through and fly by. Maybe you're leaving your body. Maybe you're going deep into your body. Maybe you're traveling to another dimension or something. Not the point. You get what meditation is. Where you essentially, you can do it with your eyes open, but a lot of people do it with their eyes closed. They close their eyes. They close their eyes. And they just remain awake, aware. They're not really moving around. They're focused on their breathing. And then the images start coming. The thoughts, the whatever starts coming. And they just watch them. And they keep that I'm awake awareness, that sense that just like when we're awake, to them. And keeps on going and going and going, and pretty soon you've forgotten what time it is. It's a lot like going to sleep, except you're conscious. Some people fall asleep because it's that close. But then there's like staring at the smartphone for hours at a time, right? And this, damn it, it's so similar, isn't it? But it's not the same. You forget what time it is. You know there's a border around the screen. You can see it, but all your attention, all your senses is focused on the screen. Or on a screen if you use a computer or whatever. We're talking about smartphones, same thing though. And the people who watch TV shows, same thing. You get immersed inside of that world, but during regular meditation you're immersed inside, in that world, doing the same mechanics, right? So regular meditation is like you deprive the bodily senses from external stimulation or information or data or whatever from the environment around you coming in. You deprive it. And damn it, feeling is on our skin, but we think of it like our hand, like touch. But most of our senses are connected to our head. Taste, that's on our head. Smelling, that's in our head. Hearing, that's in our head. Seeing is in our head. And we can, of course, feel on our head, but we cord upon that one to kind of our hands and feet. Mainly our feet. Mainly our hands. Well, touch. The reason we don't really call it feeling, right? Because feeling is associated with emotion. Emotionality in that sense, I believe. Say touch instead of feel, but we would know what we meant if we said it either way. God don't hear the words, he hears the vibrations. He knows what's in the words that matter, the intention. Therein lies the intent of the heart. Therein lieth the truth. And knowing this, the truth shall set us free. And so, back to the point, meditation is about depriving the senses. That's basically how you get there, and you put your attention not on what you're seeing and smelling or anything, because you're depriving that. You're turning those sensory experiences off, bodily senses off, and you're focusing your awareness, your attention on breathing, and then soon the thoughts come and you're observing. Or maybe you feel a twitch somewhere in your body, and then it passes, and then you bring your attention right back, essentially to the screen that's your mind. That's how meditation works. Now, when we've inverted meditation, this is the fucked up one. This is the addicting one, which demonstrates that meditation can be very addicting in and of itself. So you have a smartphone, and you're inverting the meditation. You're putting all your senses into this screen, or your screen, and all your focus is on it, and it's stimulating your senses as you're just aware of it. You're just watching it, so to speak. You're experiencing it in another way. And then even when it's just scrolling through posts and not looking at the videos, which is what I was thinking about, but you can read the things, and you can trigger the emotions and thoughts and things of it. You can experience the words of it as if they were happening. Isn't that phenomenal? It's an awful addiction to have, but freaking fantastic, and fantastic in the sense of, wow, great Scott! Not in fantastic like, we're getting some ice cream. Not like the good enough. I got a brand new Lamborghini. I wouldn't buy that shit if you hit me with the end of a damn pistol and slap me straight in the damn center of my face with the butt of a shotgun. I take one of those Challengers though. Anyway. Get one of them Hellcats over there. Because when people hear me coming and see me driving that sumbitch, they're going to say, oh shit. Hell shit. Oh hell. Here that shit comes. Look at that Hellcat over there. So anyways, back to the point. Is that's the inverted meditation. That's what I mean by that. We inverted all of it. We put all our senses on it. On the screens and whatever, and overstimulation, information is coming in. We're just like riding the stream of information awareness. Now, this is not a good practice. I'm just telling you about something, okay? I'm not telling you, go do it. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just telling you something philosophical and interesting that I stumbled upon. So we do that, or we're doing that, and pretty soon it becomes like an addiction. Inverted meditation. Smartphone usage. And so it made me think something else. I think you get the idea of what it is. If you got questions, I'll try to answer them. Post them in the comments. Be fantastic. Here, okay. So essentially, we have regular meditation, and then what I just described is inverted meditation, which is it's a bastardized version of meditation. You don't want to get into that, but that's like smartphone usage for hours on end. All your senses go to the screen. You're not trying to deprive them as you would in meditation. You're trying to cut them off from external stimuli and all that. Instead, you're plugging them into the smartphone and just riding the stream of information that comes at you. And your thumb would, of course, be using your thumb to scroll. Would, of course, be like focusing on breathing, right? You just start doing it. Okay, so what that drove me to was another idea. 3 doorways. That's what I'll call it. You got a smartphone. That's a doorway. Think of it like an external. You can think of it like an external mind, because in here is like a screen, and it show you all this fantastical things, dramas, stories, educational things, all those things like that. But make no mistake, your actual mind is both inside and outside of your body. But that's not the point. I'm making another point right now. So, inverted meditation done through the smartphone. And then there's something between the inverted meditation and regular meditation. This is extreme external meditation right here. Where you do the opposites, but it somehow gets you to something that's arguably the same result, just artificial result. Because staring at the smartphone for hours is overstimulating and it's bad. I don't ever want to encourage that. But at the same time, I can recognize that's a lot like internal meditation. So it doesn't solve any of your problems. It doesn't resolve any of your problems. It doesn't help you grow. Well, if you're looking at it, not the point. It doesn't help you grow spiritually. If you're staring at this thing all day. But arguably, you're flowing through all the information. It makes you mindless, whereas regular meditation makes you mindful. Cultivate consciousness and awareness. So when you So it made me think, what is between the external inverted meditation machine here and the internal meditation machine? The physical world. And our senses plug into that so that we may experience that. And a lot of people meditating on being physical and material in this existence. And so, fascinating thing. So when I started when I started learning about like any kind of meditation years ago, and boy, let me tell you something. My spiritual guides, God, the divine, angels, Jesus, whatever we may all think of it as in spirit guide terminologies. They had to make me stumble into these things to learn them. Books helped a little bit, videos helped a little bit, but truly, I tell you, the essence is the understanding and the realization and the knowing, not necessarily the knowledge, but the knowing of how it's done. Nobody can tell you how to experience like eating a banana. You have to eat the banana. What did Morpheus tell Neo? No one can tell you what the Matrix is, Neo. You just gotta experience that bastard. So, same about everything. So anyways, when I was first learning about meditation years and years ago, believe me, if I can do something, you can do it too. You can do it even better than me because I'm spiritually remedial. I'm the slow study. I'm in the class of people, or the class of beings, that folks get put into when we can't sit still and do the traditional things. Now, you pray, and God says, don't worry, I've got something for those of you who got ants in your pants, because you truly were born to dance the dance of life. So don't worry, I've got something for you. It's going to hurt, but it's also going to feel great. Oh, by the time I'm done with you, you'll be an expert in BDSM. Because God is a super freak. So, God will talk to you through fortune cookies. He'll talk to you through clock time. Hell, if you get your mind to shut the fuck up long enough, he'll talk to you with words. Alright, so, back to the point. So when I was learning about meditation, people told me just be. I literally, I was focused on just being, like I didn't understand what it meant. And you learn, don't worry. Don't worry. If you don't know how to pray at the beginning of this, you're going to learn how to pray because if you don't know how to pray at the beginning of the spiritual journey, you're going to learn by the time you're done because that's all you're going to have sometime. And so I thought it meant just sit there and focus on a tree. Just sit there and focus on driving the car. And that is a part of being present. It is. And when I get to certain points, I look back and I go, I really was being guided. And it didn't move as fast as I wanted sometimes. But you got to get the step down before you go to the next one. Or at least be at a comfortable, a good level of that step. So, so that's what I thought it was. And over time, I've learned a little bit more about what it is and what it really means. And I wanted to make that example today. You got inverted meditation, you got internal meditation, then you got external meditation, as far as I can see it. External is where you're focused and kind of just going through life and whatnot. And then internal is when you basically sit down, maybe lay down, just breathe, just pay attention to what's going on. Try not to fall asleep. Some people fall asleep. If you do this hardcore enough, you can probably teach the brain how not to put your ass to sleep while your body sleeps. And some of this stuff, to learn this stuff, is going to make you feel really weird, like things are crawling under your skin and like you're going crazy. Yeah, practice grounding. Very, very important. But at the same time, you're going to have to develop that skill to be a little ungrounded. Okay? You're going to have to develop that skill. If we were all perfectly grounded all the time, there'd be no talking to spirits. There'd be no praying to God because we can't see those things. And a grounded person would say, no. A completely grounded person would say, no, that's not real. And you're going to have to, I don't know how else to put it, man. You're going to have to be a little unhinged sometimes to grow quickly. All right? You're going to have to just say, I'm jumping, Lord, catch me. He'll catch you. Have faith. Believe and have faith. He can't catch you if you don't believe he ain't there to catch you. And after that, he damn sure can't catch you if you ain't got faith that he's ready to catch you. All right, so a little caveat, a little interesting thing that I thought up. I wanted to say something else today. I've tried my best to understand something. I'm no saint, and that means that I'm responsible to some degree in every situation. And I thought I've made this every time I would talk about something that involved another person, no matter who it was. I thought that I had put equal responsibility of myself in that situation, because it takes two to tango, right? I don't even know how to dance, and I'm talking about all these dance analogies. I think I'm supposed to go learn how to do yoga and dance or something. Not the point, not right now, Kurt. And I thought that I had done a good job at putting equal responsibility of myself as well as whoever else was responsible, unless it was fully my fault. And then I fully accept responsibility for those times, but it's seldom just you or just so-and-so. Seldom. And when I've been wrong, I believe I've been on this camera apologizing directly to the person that I've wronged, because I want them to know that I'm sorry when I do. Some people don't like it whenever I tell whenever I tell what happened, some people don't like that. People kid themselves because they don't want to have to face any responsibility for their share of a situation. And people will go to the extreme lengths to prevent having to experience that slight discomfort that comes with responsibility. And I mean, it ain't no big deal if people mess up, bro. Ain't nobody perfect. You expected them to be perfect, your ass gonna be disappointed. And beautiful place out here. And beautiful place out here. And I'm still going to move out west. Somebody made me an offer on the house, getting everything together, and we agreed on the price. Work out for me, work out for them too. I was glad I could do it that way. And that's all I really got to say about that, you know. No, yeah. And you know, I want to take another. You know, I was glad I could share that little insight and that observation I had about smartphone usage and meditation, because even through all the smartphone usage, when that dawned on me, it has become easier to understand how to meditate. You don't do it with the smartphone, of course. That's inversion of the real deal. It made me really think like layers. Like there's a smartphone, one layer, there's a physical environment, then there's inside. Really made me think this is another dimension we hold in our hands. It is another dimension. Is it good or bad? Hell if I know. It's in the beholder what they make of it. And further still in duality itself. Because good and bad are just a preference. And really, if you can isolate and acknowledge and notice the preference in something, you can see the ego in it. And if you can understand why you got that preference, you can see the internal components of that portion of your ego. And you dive into that and you can acknowledge it. It's pretty easy to let go of a piece of the ego. You just kind of acknowledge it's there, really, and you notice that's why you're doing something, and then you make a decision, let go. You might say it out loud. It's like a spell, if you can believe it is. Let go. Figure out some way to let it go. I forgive them in that situation. Maybe envision yourself hugging them and loving them. Look, you can't change a past event, at least not that I know of. I'm not a time traveler. I'm just a mad mystic, right? In the moment in these woods, mystic mountain. You can't change a past event. You can create an alternative narrative, but is that the truth? No. You'll hold on to that thing just like you're holding on to that thing, because you got to hold on to these things or they fall apart. And you wouldn't want them to fall apart if you went to the trouble of bullshitting yourself, right? So you would be holding on real tight to a narrative. Then you'd be lying to yourself. Better just let it go. Let it go. Learn, distill the wisdom, whatnot. Grow. Learn how to transmute that stuff. You get better and better at it to the point it almost does it automatically, like a machine, right? Biological machine. There's a point that you practice something enough and figure it out, you can transmute anything into joy and bliss, I believe. You can transmute anything into misery or suffering. You know, those people that are walking around, they're real negative all the time, right? They're pessimistic. And they're like, or they're any kind of way, really, and you know, he kind of like, that's how they are. It's like that, too. You just got to figure out how to do it. Yeah, I just wanted to share really the insights on meditation I had with you and say a little bit about that and just clarify I'm no saint. And I have never, ever acted like that, I don't believe. I have, because I've tried not to say I'm good, I'm righteous and all that shit. Look, you ain't got to be good, you ain't got to be bad. You just got to be willing and ready to ride this magic carpet ride. And I really, a lot of people in this world, from my humble opinion, believe that love is real cheap. Like love's behind every, and love can be everywhere, but I'm talking about that romantic feeling love, right? And like, well, there's plenty of fish in the sea. That's what some people put it. But can you make yourself to love anyone and anything? Yeah. But doing these things takes a great deal of time and effort and energy. Ultimately, is romantic love, is a relationship in that vein of thought, that variety, variation. Is that worth your physical lifespan here? I know we're eternal beings and immortal, but we're here experiencing too. So, and this is a finite before we got to get out of the body and restart this game, or maybe move on. Maybe say, you won't send me back to that ghetto called planet Earth. You better send me to planet god dang Aquarius. You better, or if you're a Mormon, you better send me to that planet you promised me. I wore my magic underwear every damn day. You owe me a planet. Give me my damn planet. It better be the one with the rings on it that says Unity, bitch. Your laughter's of God. Gotta like that one. I'm laughing awfully hard. But people like to say, there's plenty of fish out there. There's plenty of fish out there. Maybe so. And anybody who likes fishing for a hobby can catch a fish with a little bit of persistence and patience. But that master fisherman, he wants a certain kind of fish, don't he? He wants that fish that lights him up on the inside, right? Maybe her on the inside. This is an inclusive channel because we are all one when we take these clothes and this body off. And yeah, I said clothes and body. It's up to you what you make of it. That's a dirty-minded sumbitching monk right there. I tell you what, I ain't never seen a holy man talk like that. You ain't never read Jonah, did you? Mm-hmm. Jonah had to be drugged. Literally, a fish had to eat his ass and take him where he was supposed to go. And God loved it. Every bit of it. Even when Jonah told them and they changed their ways and God didn't burn them alive. Jonah was the only one disappointed they didn't get burned alive. And it wasn't because they didn't burn alive, it's because he didn't want to do it, and he did it. And his expectation was, at least I'm going to get to see some people have a bad day like me. And they didn't have a bad day, did they? They had celebrations, parties in the streets, and fasting, fasting. So if Jonah can be Jonah, they say he was a dishonorable prophet. Fuck if I know. Then it's okay to be a little bad. What's that wrestler? Oh yeah, I remember now. What he used to say, I'm Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. I look like one of them people from the 80s era of wrestling, don't I? Not the point. All right. Point is, you know what it is in attraction matters and romantic love matters. Everybody's got that frequency going on, to put it simply. When someone crosses our path that's on the frequency we're on, maybe a little bit of variation in it, we're attracted to them. It's up to you to figure out. It's up to you to figure out why they're on your energetic frequency. And as you get to know them, you can probably see why. That's what it is. That's why you feel that spiritual connection, the energetic connection. Part of what drives ideas like twin flames, right? They share in the same energetic thing. I'm not going to go into all the little technical details. Just bear with me. Dr. Google can fill you in on that. Professor Google. These days he can talk to you in the AI mode. When I was a kid, we had to scour the libraries of Dr. Google. We had to search and search and search. And before that, for people to get knowledge, they had to walk 15 miles in blizzards and hurricanes and earthquakes just to go to school and a chance to learn the knowledge. So when you meet somebody, you really like them, you feel drawn to them, attracted to them. And when it's not romantic, it works like this too. This is an energetic dynamic, but we're talking about romantic love right now, not about friendship and casual things right now. So you get that same frequency, right? And you realize, hey, something about them. I'm attracted to them. I want to be with them. I'm drawn to them. You got the same energetic frequency. You're on the same frequency as them, and kind of like birds of the feather flock together. You kind of flow. You want to flow together, whatever. Point is, so next time, like, you're drawn to someone, maybe in a business relationship, maybe in a romantic way, maybe in a casual friendship way, you're drawn to them, good indicator of frequency you're on. People fall away from each other as they experience different things, and more information comes in, or they grow or whatever. More experiences they have, it changes our frequencies and our vibrations. Changes our internal state that ultimately translates to a vibration, our vibration, and it changes, and thus it changes the frequency. The body And I say the body because it goes through these experiences. The body is a lot like a radio, right? And our vibrations are attuned to kind of like we're tuning. And when we get on that channel, we're on that frequency, and it broadcasts out of the speakers. May need to work on that metaphor a little bit, but it's like that. So as things are coming into our antenna on our radio, experiences, it allows like a vibration to be there based off the experience or the information come in. And that vibration is essentially tuning the knob to the radio to a frequency, and then it's played out of the speakers. Something like that. You get the point. And so, based on what's coming out of them speakers, is like energy field around the speaker itself. It's coming out of the speaker. And other people doing the same thing, draws them together, and what comes out of the speakers is like harmony, because it's the same thing. And we realize that we got the same things coming out of the speaker, basically. That metaphor needs work. We'll figure it out. The more we do something, the better we get at it, because practice makes perfect. But you guys get the point on that. You're on the same frequency. Same channel, seeing things eye to eye. Thus you connect. You got a spiritual and energetic connection. Twin flames, very similar. So very similar, at some point someone figured out, hey, I can see myself in them, thus I can see flaws in me, and I can work on those flaws. If you're stubborn about the journey, if you're full of resistance to it, you're not going to do much of any healing or surrendering to the fact that that's you're looking at, no matter what it is, because there's an ego, there's a story that says I'm great, that can't be me. I remember I haven't gotten angry in 10 years. This person's making me angry. It's got to be them, or it was just repressed. It was just hid inside of you, and because I believe something about when the frequency gets some noise in it. That's when, like, you hear the static in the speaker and it's unpleasant and you go, ooh. Because you share the same energetic frequency together, you get used to, like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden a distortion happens. It knocks you off balance. And so to go inside and see why there's a distortion, and you resolve it, and you heal it, and you work through it and whatnot, you do that inner work, changes your frequency, because that alters your vibration. It's like if you had a really bad experience one time 10 years ago, or X amount of time ago, whatever, maybe yesterday, and you go in there and you resolve it, and you learn why exactly that was so bad to you and all the things, and you're able to heal it and resolve it and thus let it pass, it's removed from your vibration. It's removed from your energetic field. And thus your vibration changes. Your internal state changes. And what you're vibrating, what you're releasing out, is they call it vibration because electrons vibrate. So that's ultimately where that stems from. Everything's energy, everything's vibrating. But vibration isn't energy itself, it's the evidence of electrons moving. It's the evidence of flowing, current flowing. Electrons in a state of movement, vibrating, and there's always vibration. And so what you can think of it as, like, when you breathe, you can feel, when you inhale, You can feel expansion. You hold it, maybe, you don't, maybe. You exhale, you come back in, you contract. And you do this over and over again, okay? Everybody knows what breathing is. And you breathe different points of your body, but that's a trivial detail. And when your vibration changes, as you expand, that goes out. As you contract, what's outside comes back in. And people with different vibrations can affect what comes inside of you. And people who are real sensitive to that phenomenon, empath, right? How one becomes an empath is up for debate. If one is an empath, it's also up for debate. You got to know thyself, because sometimes you detach from your feelings and your thoughts, and sometimes what you're thinking about, it comes from outside. It is actually inside of you and needs attention. So you gotta explore inside before you explore outside. When you feel something, you don't just go, it's from outside. You kind of go, Maybe you got a thought, as with the feeling. If you got a thought, observe the thought. Kind of don't overanalyze, but kind of study it. Like, okay, that seems awfully familiar. That thought, when was the first time I felt like that? When was the first time something like this happened that made this memory? It's a memory. Because if you know that feeling and everything, that's not the first time that you felt it or experienced it. And so everybody's doing this. You breathe without even thinking about it. You emit your feel without even thinking about it. Come from, it's got to do with your heart. Energy and matter, even though matter is ultimately very condensed energy, it's kind of different than pure energy. Pure energy is the spirit. It's a spiritual matter, pure energy. And of course, the matter interlaces and intertwines and merges with the spirit. It says in Genesis, I breathe my spirit into human beings. And because there are our whole body breathes in, because our whole body will take in energy. And when you breathe, so basically you don't even have to really be breathing with your nose or your mouth to be breathing. You just have to, when you meditate or you focus on it, you feel up and down, over your skin, over your face, over your stomach, wherever it may be, over your feet and legs, over your backside, wherever it may be that you feel that expand and contract, up and down feeling, in and out feeling on your skin or around it. That is bringing in all kinds of stuff. It's bringing energy, it's bringing in oxygen, it's bringing all kinds of things. Bringing all kinds of things of both physical variety and a spiritual variety. It's two-way interlaced. They have to be, or nobody would be experiencing the physical world. And so, yeah, I think that's about all I got to say today. I'm getting kind of tired. Yeah. Find people on your same frequency there. And you feel that connection to them. You feel that draw to them. You want to be with them. You want to hang out with them. You want to socialize with them, whatever. And the question comes, how did we get on this same frequency together? Especially if it's a very, very unique signature or frequency. How did you get on this one with me? Then you start to get to know each other, and you see lots of things about you and that other person, and that stuff. And with some self-awareness, you begin to realize that not everyone is like you, and it doesn't make you. Don't let your ego grab hold of that. It'll be like, oh, exalt. Don't exalt. Don't exalt. Just the best way I can express this idea. Then you have to question, why? How did you get on this frequency with me? We must have a lot in common. Some of these things we shouldn't have in common because there's too many of these things for this to be some kind of coincidence. Now, I personally don't believe in coincidence. Everything that happens has a reason, even if we can't grasp it and we are limited to understand the reason. We should try to. Shouldn't be at the mercy of our ignorance and not knowing. Never right, sometimes we're wrong. Important thing is you tried. So I believe, however, that there is a negligible, a very small chance at a coincidence. There is always a variable. But that is an exception. Rules don't make exceptions, and exceptions do not make rules. In trying to understand something, perspective. So when that happens, we got to understand. We gotta say, it's really mesmerizing, ain't it? It'll make you say, that situation will make you scratch your head, and it'll say, how on earth can we be this similar to the point that we develop telepathy? Spiritual gifts, psychic powers, soul powers, whatever we may call it, are all really, they're spiritual. Spiritual is energy. I prefer the terminology energetic gift, energetic blessing. But, say the other things, I'm not one of those that goes, that's not what it's called, that's ignorant as hell to do that. You know what them people meant, and if you don't, there's a problem with you, not them. Go learn how to read between the lines. Go learn how to develop those esoteric skills. Read between the damn lines. Come on now. So, and your frequencies are the same. It could be as simple as there is in theory, two beings or people. No, they're not really the same, but we'll say people. Two people can experience a lot of the same things. And it could stand to reason that those two people, maybe sometimes more than two, but we'll keep it simple. Those two people have experienced damn near the same things, and they both came to the same conclusion at the end of those lessons and experiences. And thus, you have a similar outcome. It's a lot like when you teach a classroom full of people something, and say in the best case scenario they all got it and they're all exceptional students and they did it, they would all have the same frequency. Thus, from this comes the birth of nations, countries, religions, spiritual cliques and clubs, different classes, all manners of things. Beyond a mental aspect, you can have genetical factors that play a role in the body that thus, because they would lead to the same things, physically they would lead to the same experiences in that way, and thus genetics would be guiding people to be similar and thus build an energetic frequency that way. And then you got people believing their genetics and walking around going, we're in this club, we're in that club, we're better or worse than this and that club. And the truth is, that's ignorant as hell too, because it makes you believe that you really are the body and what it tells you, because you are letting the body express. You are letting the genetics express. So you got like a mental aspect you got to tame. You got a bodily one that you got to tame. And I believe that you, like the observer, well, the observer is supposed to be like of the soul. So at this moment, I'd say you are the soul in this case. And in the ignorance of listening to those things and believing those things, you basically become confused, and you decide to enter a dreamlike state where you're living through those, and until something shakes you, wakes you up, you're kind of like bound, right? You're asleep. You don't know you're asleep. It's kind of like when you dream. The dream state's interesting too. You go to sleep, then all of a sudden you're in a dream, in a sleep dream, right? And all of a sudden you ain't questioning, is this real? The mind is going to sleep is what happened, but you remain. You don't even know how you got in that situation in that dream. There wasn't no you was born in a dream, lived a dream life, and then all of a sudden, pop, here I am in a situation in a dream. But you're still experiencing that dream, and you're still aware of it. And if you think about it, unless you're in first person mode, you watching the dream, ain't you? It's the observer. It's you. And you don't actually have to be experiencing what's in that dream, just like you ain't got to do it in life to experience those emotions and that feeling and believe it's you. Right? Believe it's you. That it's happening too, basically, because that's how your experience of it would be. It's your that would be your experience, not necessarily your perception, but your experience of it. So going to sleep, think about that. You wake up, you become aware. You don't wake up physically, but you become aware of your dream in a moment of it, right? And a lot of these dreams, I'm beginning to believe, is astral projection. I'm beginning to believe that this is astral projection. And when you return to the body, when you wake up, your mechanisms that you have to refine and work on, that's part of the inner work, strap you back down and make you forget. There's your veil of forgetfulness and how it works. Because you forget your dream, but you was there. Just as real as everything else around you, ain't it? The only difference is when something goes south there, bop, you're back here, right? And you've built maybe a comfort complex that reassures you that like, well, that wasn't real, I can forget that. And it's so entrenched in you that you just instant let it go. Life, develop that mechanism for life. Let it flow past you. Let all the bad flow past you. And all that'll be left is good, right? There you go. You have the capability, you do it every day. But every day you wake up, you have it. You just have to figure out what part of the hardware does that feat. And you got to make friends with it, so to speak. And it don't matter what you think. It don't matter what you experience. It's like, go. So when you're asleep, you wake up in that dream. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this idea. Sure am. If you thought that out there in the audience, I heard it. I heard it. So and so you're dreaming, and then you wake up, you're sleeping, and then you become aware of a dream, and you don't even question how you got in that situation, because that part must be turned off too. You just kind of like, oh yeah, this is believable. So the parts you experience with are on. And you just like go with the flow, let it roll. Question is the sleep state, is that the natural state? Think about this: going to sleep and dying. If you die naturally, I'm not talking about gruesome deaths here, but if you die naturally, you die in your sleep, so to speak, or you shut down to die, you do kind of go to sleep. It's the same phenomenon. You're leaving the body, that's all, man. Your body, the planet's got a gravitational field. Pull. Got a gravitational pull. That's why we can't, don't ever say never, but that's why we're not floating around and flying. Because gravity holds us down. It's got a pull to it. Holds us down. And so your heart produces a field like an electromagnetic field. It's electromagnetic because the energy that we actually are is very similar to electrical energy. And it's affected, it doesn't always follow the same rules. We don't always follow the same rules as electrical energy. But there's a lot of characteristics and traits between our essence, who we are, our being, soul, spirit, whatever, and electricity. So electromagnetic field will hold you down like magnetism. Now some people, somehow, some of them do it without knowing why. Some people figure out how to do it. They're able to overcome that field produced by the heart, the electromagnetic one, that it has a similar effect to gravity, to the physical body, and it holds us to the body. And if you ask me, it's like a spiritual circuit going on. If there wasn't some mechanism here to kind of contain us, we would all just keep flowing from source back to source. There'd be no experience to be had, right? There'd be no experience. The body is made of living cells, absolutely. That's why it can heal. That's why it can put itself back together. It's got that same intelligence that we all got in us, but it works different because it's got different hardware components. And so our heart acts like it does the same thing as the earth does to the body, keeps it bound to it. And at the same time, our heart keeps our soul and the spirit, the soul energy in it, keeps us attached to it. And there are different layers of the body. Astral body is one of them. These are essentially components of your soul, so to speak. I count them like that because they fall in the energetic category. And so we got the astral body. The trick is, and I believe that you got different. You can look up these 5. They call them like sheaths or subtle bodies. You can go do all the research on those. Maybe I'll talk about them here and there. But you basically got a physical body, then you got an energy body. I forget which order. You got a astral body, you got a spirit body. So these are out of orders. You got a mental body, and some people may say you have even more. All right. Energy body is essentially the circuit. You could think of it as where your emotions, they flow through your body. Sometimes it gets resistances and blockages and damages that prevent the energy from moving. New pathways have to be established and created. But the astral body is what we need to do to climb to basically exit the body before it's time to die, before we experience death. And we really do this. Dreams are the evidence of it. They're the evidence of it. And the fact that people can do it without being asleep, there's even more evidence. So it's really fascinating. That idea makes me smile ear to ear, talking about you go to sleep, then you wake up. In the dream, you become aware of the dream, and all of a sudden, and you don't question, and none of us question the validity and the reality of that dream. Like, this can't be out. We don't do that. I think that there's a way, if you are so clung on to reality, anytime that those images spark up, you'll shut them down. You won't dream. And you'll wake up and you'll be panicked. Oh, God. I know, I did this for years. I'm learning to just let the dream. I'm learning it pretty good. They used to wake me up. I'd be like, that's not real. Snap back on. I wouldn't think of it like that. Some part of me knew that that wasn't supposed to be. That at that time, according to the belief system I held, that wasn't in compliance with it, or it wasn't supposed to be happening. That part is usually disconnected during the dreams, right? And so that part right there, it needs to rest too. That contributes to your overall sleep. Because it's off naturally. We're having dreams before we tell ourselves we ain't supposed to. Or look out for what's not real. Where it's happening naturally, it's supposed to not be on. You're not supposed to be so hyperly vigilant when you're asleep. That part needs rest too. So yeah, go to sleep and you're aware of a dream, and then and your awareness never leaves. It just has those blackout moments between the dreams. And they're all dreams, aren't they? We really do experience this. This is like when we're awake, this is an extended dream that works a little bit different. You can think of it like that. That is really cool, actually. That needs a little bit more thought. But I know for sure it's super interesting. I'm just going in a circle now. I'm on loop mode. I can't get over it. That is really cool. You go to sleep, and then you wake up. You're aware in your dream. You go to sleep, and then you're aware in your dream. And you don't question one bit of it. You just go with it. Doesn't matter how asinine, how unrealistic, how impossible it may seem. We're just rolling with it. We're just let it happen. And then we wake up. Fascinating. Well, guys, I think that's all I've got to say for today. I hope everything goes your way. Have some good dreams. They're worth having.